on a Friday for another installment, another episode of Three Questions from the Godfather. And I am known as the Godfather of the Digital Business Card. My name is Gabe O'Neill. To get my information, simply text the word Gabe to the number 321-421-5213, and all of my information will come landing safely on your phone. Today we have John Browning, who is actually a client of mine. So if you can text the word life to 321-421-5213, you will get his information. And we're going to get right into it and ask him three questions from the Godfather. So number one, John, why did you leave your career on Wall Street to start Guardian Rock Wealth?
Well, Gabe, it was really a 15 years in the making. I started my career on Wall Street right out of college. Kind of worked my way up. I was fairly successful. I became an executive for Morgan Stanley, and things were going well. And 9/11 happened. Thankfully, I was in Chicago at the time, but a lot of my staff and a lot of my friends were actually in the tower itself and across the street in one of the other buildings. Being in Chicago and being an executive on Wall Street, you guess what you get tasked with? Righting the ship, because you're away from the chaos. And so for the next year, it was kind of a blur. So after that, and kind of a year later, I'm standing in my hotel room, the same hotel room that I always used, because that was the one constant in my life. You need one thing that's the same. And it was right across the street from where the towers went down. And as I had ended my day around 11:30 at night, I'm looking down on the rubble that was still there even a year later, and realized my family is still back in Chicago. Well, I started to think about how much time and effort and how much of my life I had given up to building my portfolio, building my career. And the idea of building your life, not just your portfolio, kind of started to form. And then over the next 15 years or so, I continued my Wall Street career, continued to learn a lot from some of the best minds on Wall Street, but really with the idea that I wanted to eventually take that knowledge and create some time for myself and my family, and also help other people create their lives using the tool that we call money, and using my expertise that I learned all those years.
Very cool. So what is it like to work with you? What does the process look and feel like?
It's I'm a little different, I guess, than your typical financial advisor or wealth manager, in that I can talk to you all day. I can get real nerdy about the markets and the economy and how to set up your portfolio and all that. But really, where we start is with, why is it that you want to create your portfolio, and what is the end goal really for you? And usually I get an answer off the cuff really quick from people. They say, oh, I want $10 million, I want $1 million, whatever the number is in their head. And then I ask the question why, and I become like the 2-year-old, and I ask that question several times.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that once you ask it between 5 and 7 times to each answer, number one, they start getting annoyed or they start laughing with you, because
Right.
it is kind of amusing to discover yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually we get to the real why of why and what they want to create in their life. We work from there and we get into the nerdy stuff of, well, how can we best get there? And we create something starting from that base and help them build their life using the tool that they call their money and portfolio.
Very good. So is there any charge to have an initial conversation?
There's absolutely no charge to have an initial conversation. One of the frustrations that I had working on Wall Street is I rarely got to talk to the individual investor. I was managing, billions of dollars in portfolio
Mm-hmm.
assets. But if you talk to me as an individual investor, that probably meant you had 10, 20, $30 million.
Mm-hmm.
And this allows me the chance to really get to know the people that I'm helping. And I enjoy helping people no matter where they are in their financial journey. Sometimes when we chat, I'll just leave you with some value that you can take and do things on your own. Other times, it might be the start of a relationship that could last 20, 30, 40 years. And we may be together building your life and your portfolio for that long. So to talk with me initially, it's absolutely free. I will give you 15, 30 minutes of my time and help you along your way, no matter where you are.
Excellent, excellent. So, as part of what we've been doing at three questions, is adding that fourth question that that you didn't give me that has nothing to do with your business, but this kind of will reveal something about you yourself. Hopefully,
Yeah.
would you rather live 100 years in the future or 100 years in the past, and why?
Oh, well, for me, I would rather live 100 years in the future. And the reason for that is, I'm a positive person. I have a pretty bright outlook on life. I love and enjoy innovation
Hmm.
and seeing where things have come, even in my lifetime, a little over 50 years now. And, I remember the advent of the cell phone. I remember the beginning of the computer. We didn't have any of that stuff. And yes, there's frustrations with the world around us, but when you really look back at history and you don't live there, but you look back and you learn from it,
Hmm.
you see things really are, in my opinion, more better than they are worse.
Gotcha. Very
So,
cool.
100 years in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, John. And again, to get your information or to get John's information, I'm going to post his LinkedIn on all the different places that we post this. But an easier way and a more effective way is simply to text the word life to the number 321-421-5213 to get all of John's information. And again, for me, that keyword is Gabe. You get kind of see a pattern going here. All our clients get a different keyword to that same number, and there we have it. Another one in the can. Thanks a lot, John, for joining us. And any final words?
That's it for me. Looking forward to talking with anybody who'd like to do it.
All right, great. Well, thanks a lot, John, and we'll see you on the next episode of Three Questions.